Ja, u ziet hier de 26-jarige Danzel, beter bekend als rapper Biggie Dagoe. Hij had op Instagram meer dan 120.000 volgers. Denzel werd de afgelopen zondagochtend, de 25 februari... iets voor 5:30 neergeschoten bij een partycentrum aan de Rolneweg in Amsterdam-West.
It all happened in Amsterdam on the 25th of February 2024. Danzel Silos had attended a party where he was joined by some of his friends in a VIP section. At around 5:30 in the morning, Danzel and his friends left the venue and stood outside on a parking lot when things went horribly wrong. For thus far unknown reasons, an altercation ensued and someone pulled out a firearm, fired a shot and struck Danzel. Not long after the shot was fired, a video was posted on the internet that showed a police officer trying to resuscitate Danzel on the street. This, unfortunately, did not help. Danzel succumbed to his injuries. No one knew the exact reason for the altercation. A witness said, "The party went well, however, once outside the atmosphere turned very hostile. I tried to help him, but his heart rate was very low." The shooter fled the scene and tried to flee to French Guiana via Paris, but was apprehended at the Parisian airport before he could do so. Back in Amsterdam, several nights full of explosions followed. During one bombing, the attackers printed the word "war" on the walls. Police immediately linked these explosions to the passing of Danzel. They said it was retaliation for what had happened and feared more violence in the future. The mayor of Amsterdam, Femke Halsema, said, "I sincerely hope this will not be the beginning of a new wave of violence in Amsterdam. There have already been several explosions throughout the city, which we are investigating, that are most likely linked to the passing of Danzel Silos." Interestingly enough, this was not the first time Danzel got shot. Back in August 2020, he also got shot. Just before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he was walking through the streets of Amsterdam when all of a sudden, a dark clothed man popped up and shot him multiple times from close range. 2 ambulances and a helicopter rushed to the scene, where Danzel was laying on the ground, wounded. They acted fast and managed to save his life. So who is this Danzel Silos and why did he get shot twice? Here's a little bit of backstory. Danzel Silos is better known as Biggie Dagoe, a Dutch rapper and member of Zone 6. According to Dutch investigators and media outlets, Zone 6 is a rap group that has been linked to serious crime over the past few years. They are suspected of, and in some cases prosecuted for drug trafficking, kidnapping and extortion, but more on that later. Ever since he's 12, Denzel has had his fair share of trouble with the law. He has been prosecuted for street robbery, theft and being in the possession of stolen goods. In a few other cases he was acquitted. As he grew older, he became good friends with a guy named JoeyAK. According to police, he is the perceived leader of Zone 6 and has had his fair share of trouble with the law as well. So who is JoeyAK? Well, he is probably better known as the rapper JoeyAK. He was born on the 7th of January 1997 in Amsterdam. In 2015, at 18 years old, he was convicted for stealing a TV, printer and PlayStation. His following conviction was only a year later, in 2016, for carrying a firearm and theft of cigarettes during a burglary in a warehouse. As mentioned earlier, Joel is the perceived leader of Zone 6, a group that markets themselves as a rap formation or simple neighbourhood group, but are suspected of being involved deep in the Dutch underworld. According to the Dutch investigators, him, Danzel and the rest of the group are a criminal organisation that has close connections to the Netherlands' biggest coke smugglers. Joel is the self-proclaimed street king of Hollandrecht, and Danzel was allegedly his right-hand man. Hollandrecht is one of the less affluent neighbourhoods in the southeast of Amsterdam. Zone 6 is notorious in this neighbourhood, especially with the younger kids living there. Oftentimes, the children living there grow up in struggling households. When going on social media, they watch the kind of lives Joel, Danzel and the rest of Zone 6 live, and want the same type of living, including the jewellery, cash, expensive clothing and cars worth deep in the 6 figures. In several reports written by Dutch police, Zone 6 misuses these children's desire to live such a lifestyle. It's speculated that they actively recruit these young kids to take out coke for them from containers in the port of Rotterdam and Antwerp. As word went round through the neighbourhood, more kids allegedly wanted to join in and are nearly standing in line to do the work. In addition, Dutch police stated that the other members of Zone 6 act as his bodyguards and confidants, which, looking at their criminal records, might not be too far-fetched. Some of them have been prosecuted for possessions of firearms and others for the import of tons of cocaine. All in all, police and the mayor of Amsterdam deemed the group as a serious threat to the neighbourhood. To limit the group's influence, police went door to door to warn parents living in this area about the group and their tactics to recruit these boys, and soon it became apparent that Joey was not a person to mess with. By the end of December 2019, Joey would be involved in serious kidnapping. At that time, he had given one of his girlfriends named Mandy P a bag with €100,000 in cash to hide in her apartment. Not much later, Mandy had one of her friends over and for whatever reason showed the bag of cash to her. A few days after, this woman stopped by Mandy again and according to this woman stole €5,000 out of the bag. Mandy had found out that her girlfriend had stolen money and immediately told Joey. However, she did not tell the whole truth. Instead of saying it was €5,000, she said that she stole everything. So on the 30th of December, 3 of Joey's associates went to the house of this woman who they thought stole the €100,000. They carefully searched her whole house, but the money wasn't found. She was able to call the police, which arrived just after the 3 men fled the house. During this search for the money, Joey was in Suriname since he had to perform, but he didn't stay long because as soon as he heard that his money was still not found yet, he immediately brought a ticket back to Amsterdam. He arrived on the 31st of December and did not waste much time. At around 7 PM that day, him and 3 others kidnapped the woman together with her 2 children and brought her to the home of Mandy P. And this is where a true nightmare started for her. Joey allegedly used a firearm to hit the woman 9 times on the head and knees. And not long later, it became even worse. He also allegedly poured boiling hot water on her and shouted, "I want my money, otherwise your life and that of your children is over." The children were not witnesses of the incident, as they were kept on a different part of the house. The woman admitted that she had stolen the money and gave it to her boyfriend. Joey contacted the boyfriend and instructed him to return the money at a parking lot. Right after, the woman was returned to the home of Mandy P, where her kids were still located. On the 1st of January, she was still held hostage. Joey's older brother came to the house to prepare some food for the children who were still present in the house, but did not give the woman anything. He left the home later that day and got arrested. He had a firearm in his possession that contained blood from the abducted woman. A police unit raided the home of Mandy P in the evening of the 1st of January. It is unknown how the police managed to get this address, though it was most likely due to phone signals. At the same time, they arrested Joey, who was near the home of another girlfriend of his. He had a large amount of cash on him, and inside the girl's home, the police found more cash, expensive designer clothing, gold, and a money counting machine. In total, €200,000 was found, 3 firearms were seized, and 9 other people were arrested. During the arrest, police obtained Joey's phone. They discovered a video of him with a firearm whilst he sat behind the abducted woman in the car when they waited for her boyfriend to arrive with the money. He had fired a shot in the air, saying Happy New Year. They had also found another video of him showing how he questioned the woman in the house. He has always denied any accusations of him being involved in the kidnapping and only admitted that at one point he was in the house. At the same time, he was accusing the prosecutors of intentionally ruining his rap career. In a court session, he said, "I haven't kidnapped anybody. No money laundering, no firearms, no violence. I am stuck here for 6 months without my family and my career has been completely ruined. I am portrayed as a crime boss by the media. However, I have changed my life for the better many years ago. Back in the days, I was a child without any chance, and now you're taking everything away from me. The truth will come out. By keeping me in jail, I get deeper in debt and don't know if I can pay that back." Despite this statement, prosecutors demanded a 5-year jail sentence for Joey. On the 14th of December 2020, Joey was sentenced to 3 years in prison. But even though he had frequent troubles with the law, Joey's rap career took off. It perhaps even helped his career and aided to his success as an artist. It built his street cred and showed that what he rapped was real. He has mentioned in an interview that while in jail, he wrote most of his songs. His songs and videos instantly get millions of streams. He also frequently worked together with another Dutch rapper named JoeyAK, who is serving 18 years for being involved in a hit. In a podcast, Joey also mentioned that law enforcement had informed him that he was on a hit list to be taken out. However, they did not want to tell him who the threat came from and kept it very vague. Joey couldn't understand why they would not tell him who wanted him gone, and accused them of playing dirty games and playing with his life. How could he protect himself if he didn't know where the threat came from? And was it even true, or were the police trying to play him? Well, they didn't want to give him any clue. On the 12th of March 2022, Joey was allowed early parole under strict rules with an ankle monitor. Yet, it would not take long before he was in trouble again. He initially was not allowed to travel outside the Netherlands, but an exception was made for him in August when he had to travel back to Suriname to attend his grandmother's funeral. However, it remains a question if he solely attended his grandmother's funeral, because on the 28th of September, the police of Suriname suddenly issued an arrest warrant for Joey. They accused him of being involved in a shooting that happened on the 15th of August in Paramimbo and said that he was armed and dangerous. According to local news, there was a heated argument near a gas station and various men fired shots at each other. Allegedly, the men were rival coke smugglers. His lawyer, Hyunhain Kalbers, confirmed that he knew Joey's name was being attached for the shooting and said, "The rumours are false. They result from the fact that there is a crisis in Suriname and Joey has a large wallet." Joey himself has also denied any involvement. Not long after the alleged shooting, on the 3rd of September 2022, a rapper named Corbus L was lured into a car wash called Happy Duck in Duvendrecht, Amsterdam. But what he didn't know was that the car wash, Joey, and at least 8 other Zone 6 associates were waiting for him to arrive. As soon as Corbus arrived, he was pushed into a Mercedes Vito van, where he was needed to sit on the ground. He had to give up his Rolex, phone and Louis Vuitton bag. The van started driving, and inside, Corbus was being threatened by members of Zone 6, with things like, "If you don't cooperate, I'll shoot you," "Jab him if he does not listen," and "If you don't follow instructions, I will smash this bottle of Hennessy on your head." While they drove around, the associates started calling friends of Corbus, demanding €50,000 in ransom for him to be released safely. During one call, one of the kidnappers said, "I am with that friend of yours and he has to pay. Will you pay for him?" After this conversation ended, one of the kidnappers said to Corbus, "I will take your finger off. Your people will see this as serious." The kidnappers called another friend, and at that moment Corbus screamed, "If they will not be paid, they will eliminate me." One of the kidnappers ended the phone call and told one of his associates, "I don't even care about the money anymore. Let's just get rid of him." Meanwhile, hours went by as the van with the kidnappers and Corbus drove from Amsterdam to The Hague and back to Amsterdam. And all the while, the van was escorted by 2 other cars. Back in Amsterdam, the kidnappers attempted to take Corbus into a home. As the door of the van opened, Corbus tried to run. However, he was quickly caught and allegedly kicked and hit with a piece of wood. The scuffle that followed on the street caused residents to pay attention to the sudden noise. The kidnappers didn't want to risk it and drove off. However, they were definitely not done with him, because on the 15th of September, Corbus was once again the victim of the group as he got beat up in the Dutch luxury department store called De Bijenkorf. So what was the exact reason for this kidnapping and beating? How did this story reach the police? Well, Corbus allegedly had talked bad about Joey, and apparently Corbus had told the police himself as he pressed charges, which is highly unusual in this scene, as you might imagine. To explain himself, he had posted a video on his Snapchat. Let's watch.
Dan moet jullie één ding uitleggen, hè. Ik ga jullie uitleggen. Ik ben gewoon aan mijn pap, snap je? Ik ben niet op die mediasensatie. Dus gewoon die jongens spammen dingen van mij op internet, actie-reactie, snap je? Want ik ben niet Spaans. Einde van de rit, die mannen kwamen met 10 tegen 1. Ik ben in mijn eentje, snap je? Die mannen kwamen onsportief. Begrijp je? De straat was bang. Niemand wil achter me staan. Ik heb pap. Ik deel uit om dingen te laten doen. De straat is bang. Dan moet ik ook een onsportieve set doen. Ik ga gewoon naar die mensen, snap je? Ik ga die mensen uitleggen van luister dan. Deze mensen hebben me gegijzeld. 10 tegen 1. Ik ben alleen. Wat moet ik doen? Moet ik doodgaan? Nee. Ik ben te slim voor dat. Ik ben gewoon mijn pap. Ik ben op die mediasensatie. En uiteindelijk, die mannen cappen. Sorry, zijn die cap rappers. Snap je wat ik bedoel? Welke miljonair is bij een koude ontvoering? Dan ben je toch een idioot? Als je een echte miljonair bent, stuur je troepen om me te ontvoeren. Die man is er zelf bij. Snap je? Dus laat die miljonair cappen niet voor jullie liegen. Hè? Laat het...
Not much later, he also released a diss track against Joey, The following month, Joey as well as 8 others were arrested on the suspicion of kidnapping Cobus. Police found pictures and videos on Joey's phone of the incident. However, his lawyer, Hyun-Hein Kyopas, has always insisted that Joey was innocent and not involved in the kidnapping. Prosecutors demanded a 7-year prison time for him. But that was not all. To make matters worse for Joey, prosecutors wanted to take 815,000 euros from him. According to them, he was deeply involved in the drug trade and organised crime. They were convinced that this is where he made the vast majority of his money, not with his rap career as he claimed himself. His lawyer said that he did earn all that money with rap, though a lot of it was paid off the books in cash. In March 2024, according to the court, Joey led the kidnapping and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. As Joey was allegedly driving in one of the cars behind the van, he did get acquitted for the assault of Cobus, as it could not be proven that he was in the moving van. The other 7 co-defendants also got sentenced to prison time, ranging from 26 months to 3 to 5 years. However, even behind bars, his music is still doing very well. Free AK is a phrase that still rings amongst his friends and fanbase. Let me know in the comments if you like this video. And of course, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more of these documentaries.